Hi, I'm Pieter Bijl. I'm here to show you how to rig up a gun sail's cambered sail as efficiently and easily as possible so that you can maximize your time on the water. We'll start by taking the sail out of the sail bag, opening it up, grabbing the sail bag, and the sail just comes right out. At gun sails, we have a beautiful little toggle that keeps the sail rolled up. So you undo the elastic band from the little toggle and we unroll the sail. This sail happens to be a Vector 7.5, which has a luff length of 473, meaning it's going to rig on a 460 mast, which is what we have right here. We take the mast. With gun sails, the top is often inside the base. We pull it out, make sure that we have a nice clean connection so that the mast doesn't stick together, and we put the mast together all the way. So make sure that it's not like that, because first of all, your settings will be incorrect, and second of all, you'll create a weak part right at the ferrule. So mast goes all the way together. Then we take the mast, put it inside the sleeve, and we slide it in on top of the sail body, so meaning that we're not threading it onto the cams, but we're sitting right at the top of the sail body above the battens. That way it makes it really easy to insert the mast really far before we start running into some friction. So right here we start getting some friction, meaning we're going to walk up to the boom area, grab the mast with one hand in the boom area, we reach as far up as we can, and we pull the rest of the way onto the mast. Then we walk back down to the bottom. We have a beautiful handle right here. We pull the handle and we pull all the slack out of the sail. At this point, we're going to fold up the tack fairing. So we expose the pulleys nicely, making it really easy to thread the pulleys. So next we're going to get the extension. Set it to the right length. So here we have a luff length of 473. Minus 460 leaves us with 13 centimeters of extension, which we have 15 on this one, which is what we'll use. Then we'll have a little bit of space left over when we're done rigging. On the gun sails extension, there is a secret trick that you may use, and that is throwing the rope through here so that we're actually starting on the outside, as you can see. Putting the extension into the mast, we're going to thread the pulleys. So as we are starting at the bottom right here, we're starting at the bottom on the, let's say, the lead side of the sail. We're going to start at the same side over here. So we're going to start on the left hand side and we're going to come back to the mast side. So since now we came out on the mast side, we're going to come in on the mast side and we're going to pull it back towards us. And we do the same thing 2 more times, and then you'll have some perfect threading going on. Just like that. Then, since the cams are not on the mast, we're going to just pull a little bit of downhaul, enough to expose the mast almost throughout the boom opening, so right here, making it nice and easy to put the boom onto the mast. Next, we'll get the boom. Again, printed on the sail 212, so that means you're going to set the boom as this is a 180 boom. 212 minus 180 is 22, 32. Printed on the back side of the boom, 32.5. Should make it the right setting. As we are using a SDM mast, we're going to have to take the shim out. All the gun sails booms come with a shim mounted in the boom head, stock from factory. So you just simply, it kind of snaps into the head. So you just put your thumb on the one side. So this side has a full circle. This side only has a small thing sticking out. You can put your thumb on there and simply just pop it out of the boom opening and put it over there behind you in the grass. Put the boom onto the sail. Very simple. We're just going to reach into the boom opening with one hand. We're going to just simply rotate your hand so you really expose that mast. Get the cuff, because if you snap it on first and then you try to get the cuff on, it's kind of hard. So the thing you do is you get the cuff in there first, like that, and then push the boom onto the mast, push the cuff all the way closed, take the rope, throw it around the cuff. You got to get a little bit of tension on there. Don't put the boom too tight, as you could crush the mast, but also don't be too careful by putting it too loose, because then you may slide up and down, which is also not what you want. So this is a little loose. You want to have a little bit of a snap when it closes to make sure that you have enough tension. So I'd say something like that is pretty good. Then we move to the back of the sail, where we're going to set some Outhaul. So as you see, there's quite a bit of distance still to the back of the boom. We're going to put the rope in. Thread it how you want it. And we're going to pull, let's say, between 5 and 7 cm of tension right here. Not too much, because it'll make it hard to get the cams on. Not too little, because it'll make it hard to get the cams on, as you could potentially break the battens. If you don't have enough Outhaul and enough Downhaul, then you'll have to push into a really tight curve, and it may damage the battens. Even though one thing I do have to say, on the gun sails, the batten tips, they have some special devices, something like very large toothpicks, mounted onto the tip of the batten that overlap with the cam, that make these battens very durable. So breaking them is not very easy, but still we want to take care to not damage them. Then we let off some Outhaul. Sorry, we let off some Downhaul. We start with the cam below the boom. You simply put your hand either on the edge of the sleeve, or you can put it inside the sleeve where there's a little hand printed. You push down, and with the other hand you simply push the cam onto the mast. Same for the one above the boom. And then the same at the bottom, which is the one you do last. Push down with this hand and push up with the other hand, just like that. Then we just quickly put a little bit of tension like that. Now already you can see that the curve is not so extreme anymore, so the chance of damaging your battens is pretty much completely gone. So we're safe. At gun sails, we have this beautiful little tool. It has a screwdriver that fits your foot straps perfectly. It has a number 13 socket, which you can use for whatever requires a number 13 socket. And it has 2 little holes. So we go up through one, we go down through the other, and then we go through the loop like that, and then we are ready. You can wrap it around a couple times just to be safe. Ready to pull some Downhaul. Here we go. Whoppa. So when we're pulling Downhaul, in all gun sails we have a thread that's printed right here. Apart from using the settings that are printed at the bottom of the sail, we can use the thread. You can see that the twist is coming right down to where the thread is, showing that your rigging is correct. There is a little, you can go a little bit on either side of the thread, but on the thread is the ideal setting. So once we're done with that, we can finish applying the Outhaul. As you can see now, again, there's no Outhaul tensions because the cams are pushing on the mast, pushing the mast forward and pushing the sail back into the boom. So now we just finish by putting a little bit of Outhaul tension. I usually put a couple knots in here, just to kind of, you know, you don't want to have any dangling ropes in the back of your boom or any of that kind of stuff. For the Outhaul setting, there's a setting that's printed on the sail, which on this sail is 212, which is measured from the middle of the boom opening. I just want to show you one thing. If I'm sailing the boom all the way in the top, because the angle increases, I need more length to get to the right Outhaul setting. As you can see, right now, the Outhaul is very loose, even though the setting is the same as a minute ago. Now I will move it all the way to the bottom of the boom opening. And all of a sudden, we have an Outhaul that's very tight. So, The measurement printed on the sail is purely a guide for you to get it into the right more or less setting, and the tuning and trimming of the Outhaul is up to your personal preference. Usually with a cambered sail or with any sail with a cross button, so that means the rapid, the sunray, the vector, the GSR, should be just about touching the boom for the light wind setting and a little bit tighter for the high wind setting. Don't over tighten the Outhaul on these sails because it makes them unstable, because you need some profile to keep the sail stable. But also don't put them too loose because you'll damage your sail on the boom, because if you have it hanging all over the boom, it will slowly scratch your monofilm and it won't increase your performance. So when we're done with that, we simply remove our downhaul tool. We tie a knot in the downhaul line. I usually just put 2 simple knots to just make sure that the rope stays in the cleat. I then roll up the rest of the line, and there's a beautiful little mesh pocket here that this rope goes in. You velcro it shut and you close it up. On the Vector and the GSR, there are 2 camber sails that do have a tack strap. On the Sunray there isn't one. On both the Vector and the GSR, I would suggest simply tightening it so that there's tension, then giving it 1 pump like that. That's all the tension that you need, no more, no less. Once you're done with this, you can close all the zippers, keeping the water out of your sleeve. Flip your tack fairing down. There's a little piece of Velcro right here, keeping it locked into position, and you're ready to go. For the de-rigging, we pretty much reverse the rigging. There's a few things, a few things different. So we're going to start by taking the boom off altogether. So we undo the little knots in the back here. Don't make it too complicated. Just some simple knots is good enough. You don't have to go nuts with the knots. Pull the rope out. Then we take the boom off. So these gun sails booms, they fit pretty tight on the mast. So sometimes you have to give them a little push to get out. They don't come out by themselves, which is also nice. When you're putting it on, you kind of pull it in and it stays there while you do the rope around the cuff. Take the boom off. Then one very important part is the tack strap. If you have a gun sails with a tack strap, it's very important that we undo the tack strap before we release the downhaul tension, because the tack strap is not made to carry the load of the downhaul tension. So we undo the tack strap and remove it from the mast base completely. Then we can take the rope out of its little pocket, take these knots out. Again, don't make it too complicated, because it will just cost you time and it doesn't do anything. The cleat is perfectly sufficient enough to hold the downhaul tension. So next, we have a bit of a sensitive issue. When we release the downhaul, we pop it out of the cleat. Don't just let it shoot off. Not really good for the sail, so slowly let it off. But when we get here, we can see a pretty extreme curve in the battens. The thing you want to avoid at this point is dropping the sail on the ground. If you drop the sail on the ground right now, this section will become flat and it will push all the curve into this tiny little section, possibly damaging your batten. So don't do that. Keep the sail right here and keep releasing the downhaul slowly. The gun sail cambers have the rollers on the lips, so they come off the mast pretty easy. Sometimes the bottom one you have to help. You simply open the zipper, give it a tiny little push, and it comes off the mast. Once all the cams are off, you can easily put the sail down and go have a cup of coffee. But until the cams are off, you keep the sail up. Pull the extension out, and then we're going to pull the mast out. The way I like to do it, you can do it with the sail, whatever. The way I do it is just hold the sail here, hold the mast, twist, and pull. And the mast comes right out without wrinkling the monofilm, without wrinkling the sleeve or anything. Keeping the sail perfectly nice and flat so you can enjoy your sail for the longest time possible. Take the mast. We highly recommend to keep your mast in this protective bag. The protective bag is there to prevent knocks and dings. These masts are 100% carbon fiber, or some 75. They're pre-preg masts. They don't like to be knocked by little sharp objects that could possibly damage your mast. So keep it in its little bag. Keep it safe so that you can enjoy it for a long time. rolling up the sails. The first tuck that we get on rolling is the key to getting a nice tight roll, because if I start like this, I don't have anything to hold on to. So you want to get the first tuck nice and tight, and then you slowly just roll it. When you roll it nice and tight, you'll get the least amount of wrinkling in your monofilm, and again your sail will last the longest. Also letting your sail dry before de-rigging, or if you don't have the opportunity, if it's a rainy day, dry it once you get home. Will make your sail last a little bit longer. I know they're windsurfing sails and they're designed to be wet, but there's still certain materials such as the luff sleeve that hold a little bit of water, and they could get moldy if you leave them in a moist environment for a long time. So try to dry them up, it's the best way. Then again, the gun sails toggle, I automatically put it on because I've rolled up so many sails by now, but it's right here. Goes around that little guy right there. Boom, keeps the sail rolled up, making it nice and easy to put it back in the sail bag. We zip it up. And we're done. So that sums up the gun sails rigging and de-rigging for the camber sails. And if you need any more information about how to change a batten or a cam, refer to some of the other videos, and you'll find all the information you need about all that kind of stuff. Have a good day.